All right. Hey, guys. We are back in the show. Welcome back to Leadership Stack Live. We are online again to answer your questions on Discord. Where is the link to the Discord channel? There it is. From the channel.c/Discord. If you have questions about business, work, leadership, entrepreneurship, and management, please go to this link right there. Ask your questions there, and I will be tackling it within this hour, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. If we don't have a lot of questions, then we will end early tonight. No problem. Right now, we do not have as much questions actually, so looks like we're gonna be ending a little bit early tonight. So I'm going to read the first question, but before that, I want you to know that SEO Hacker is hiring. We are looking for people who want to work and learn and grow in the digital marketing industry. And this is the link right there, seohacker.services/jobs. If you want to start your digital marketing career, we are hiring right now. So if you know anyone or if you yourself plan to get into digital marketing, learn and grow with us, please go to that link. That is where you send us your resume. That is where you apply. You see all the job openings there and so on. We also have Project Author happening this November and November 11, I think that was it. And the link is projectauthor.com. So if you have a book that you would like to write and publish, please join us November 11, 7:30 p.m. That's a seminar/workshop type session with Mr. RD Roberto. So, and if you haven't yet, you can follow us on Spotify. This is the link, leadme.ph/Spotify. We have new episodes every so often. I'm going to be sharing my screen just for you to see the latest episode. There we go. So actually, the latest episode we've published is my talk with Mr. Marvin Gerba. This was quite some time ago, also here on Leadership Stack Live, and we published that just today. So you might want to tune in because we talk about the differences in investing in the Philippines and investing in the US. As you know, the Philippine stock market has recovered or started to show signs of recovery just this week. The US is still volatile as ever since the pandemic and has grown and grown and grown. We're not sure what's going to happen there, but you might want to hear the insights that Marvin has. That is the latest episode. We also have the best investments you can make, the secret to success. That's all about making connections and having the right connections. How you can stay motivated as an entrepreneur. So these are taken from the last leadership stack, or sorry, I think that was like a long time ago. So when I started these leadership stack live sessions way back. So this is also going to be recorded and it's also going to be translated into podcasts like this. So as promised, we do publish the podcast episodes, and if you ask questions, your name is going to be in the podcast episode as well if you ask any questions or if you're looking for help, business consulting, etc. So we have a question from Jazz. First question is, how do you politely turn down a non-negotiable business offer? Well, if it's not negotiable, then what's there to negotiate about it, right? So what I tell clients usually is, if I'm the one that they want me to be the one to service them, for example, and mababa yung presyo, like the price is something that just doesn't make sense for me. They're or they lowballed me, or they want the price to be out of my scope. What I usually tell them is, I'm sorry. I think a no deal is better than a lose lose. So that's what I tell them, and usually they understand the man if I say that, and they would say, oh, okay, no, we want a win-win. You see, business people, kaya tawag sa atin negosyante, no? Kasi we want a win-win. We want a win for us, and we want our negotiation counterpart to win, or our business supplier or customer to win, because if they don't win, there's no repeat business. If they don't win, there's no repeat business. So we want a win-win deal. So usually when I'm given a non-negotiable business offer that I don't like, I usually tell them, I think it's better we have a no deal than a lose-lose. And that's a kicker. They do react, but not negatively. They just come to the realization most of the time na okay, it should be a win-win pala. Do I have memory verses that I live by? Tips on memorizing verses. Um, Tips on memorizing verses, usually I don't memorize them, but because I've read the Bible for a lot of times already, I tend to memorize them. Also, if you listen to worship songs, that makes it a lot easier to memorize memory verses or verses per se. One verse that I really love is in Proverbs. So it says there, give me neither poverty nor riches, but my daily bread. Otherwise, I may. This is not verbatim. This is my how I remember it, and it says, otherwise I might become too rich, and and say, and forget you and say, who is the Lord, or I may become too poor and steal and profane your name. So that is a verse that I keep close to my heart, and it tells me that we should find contentment in God. And I believe that the true source of happiness, you see, for me, happiness is a state of not wanting anything. There's nothing more that you can want or you can ask. That for me is happiness. And to get there, I think that you have to have contentment in God. You have to walk with God. Third question from Jazz. How true is this saying for you? If you love what you're doing, you'll never work a single day in your life. It's true, but not all facets of your work is going to be something that you love. So, I'm the CEO and founder of SEO Hacker. I love being CEO. I love what I do, having decision influence. I love making money, revenue. I love talking with people, negotiating, leading my team members. But there are facets of the business that I don't love as much. When I was starting out, I didn't love cleaning the restroom, but that's part of my job, right? I own the business. Wala akong janitor. I don't have any sort of like house help to clean the office. So I had to clean the restroom of my office. That's not something that you can be passionate about. Accounting's not something I'm passionate about. So I do not love that part of my job. And up to today, we outsource that. Legal, not only do I not love it, but I am completely an imbecile when it comes to that. I don't know a lot of the legal stuff that I need to know or what's there to know about. So we outsource that. Right? I'm not good with it. I'm not passionate about it. So it's not all the facets of your work is going to be something that you're passionate about. So work is still work. So there's truth to that statement, but we should not take it as gospel. There's also, that's why we call it work, because it's work. There are facets in work that you will not love, but you have to do it. And the last question from Jazz is, what do you do when you feel like your tasks are being repetitive? As human beings, we have to repeat a lot of stuff. Waking up, sleeping, eating, drinking water. And tasks being repetitive is part of work. I don't think there's work where everything's new all the time. That's even if I'm a sales guy, I go out, I meet people I closed deals before the pandemic, and you can say that iba-iba yung nami-meet mo, iba-iba yung experience mo siya, iba-iba yung pinupuntahan mo, sure, but it's repetitive in the sense that I do need to go out, meet people, talk with them, give them my professional opinion about their digital marketing website and their digital revenue, and then try to close the deal and serve them. So it is what it is. And how you can take a break from that is taking a day off, 2 days off, long weekend off, making sure that when you take a vacation, you are there for recovery, not really to watch more Netflix or YouTube or not being stuck with your gadget. You usually go out, and I love nature. I'm an adventurous guy. I love going to the beach. I love going anywhere that's full of nature. That's something that I really love to do. So when I'm there, I don't stick to my phone. I'm the kind of guy who's always on do not disturb, and that's because I don't like my phone bugging me. I never really get notified by anything by my phone. So I'm not that hooked or addicted to it. I don't have that habit of just getting it and looking at it, even if there's nothing happening. If I get my phone, it's purposeful. I check something that I need to check, and that's it. Downside is mahirap akong kontakin madalas. No? So yeah, that's a big downside. But I would rather have that downside than being having my life drained away by this little piece of technology that is draining away a lot of people's lives right now. We have okay. I missed some questions now. All right, Patrick, you have a lot of questions. Oo nga. Let's get to that. From Patrick Miguel, what are the signs that the economy is getting better? Look at the PSCI. I think that's a good sign, right? So we're now at the 6,000 mark again. I think that's a good sign. That's optimism from the market at large, economists and foreign investors. It's not going to increase if money isn't flowing back in the economy. So I think it's getting better generally. What businesses are thriving in this pandemic? E-commerce businesses. Anything that deals with getting that the product or service to the end user or the customer without the customer having to go through the friction of exposing themselves outside or hassling themselves with a lot of payment gateways or steps. I think those are the businesses that would thrive. And we see this in cloud kitchens, also Viber groups, because they make it easy to transact. They make it easy for the buyer. They're just going to be delivering whatever it is that the buyer wants to purchase. I think those businesses are thriving. There's a lot of them. It's not naman na konti lang yun. No, marami pa rin. Marami, there's actually a lot of new businesses as well thriving in this pandemic. Now, as to if they're gonna thrive after the pandemic, when things shift a little back to you can go out and do stuff outside, I don't know if it's going to have that kind of longevity. But as of the pandemic, which up to now we don't really see the end of it, it's still foggy as for up to how long this pandemic will last. Then as far as their thriving is concerned, they are still thriving, and they're still gonna thrive until this pandemic is over. Will the Philippines be better after the crisis? I sure hope and pray that it will be. But we can't really say, right? What are the common reasons why people leave your company? Common reasons? Hmm. I can't think of common. They have a lot of different reasons. You know, as a CEO and founder for a decade, one thing that I realize is people will never tell you the truth of why they're leaving. That is a sad fact. And they would tell you things that you might like to hear, pleasant things maybe, but they will never tell you the real reason why they're leaving your company. So I've heard people tell me that they want a change of pace, they want a change of environment, but the real reason would be they have another opportunity. It might be an opportunity that's going to pay them more, or they're being pirated with a bigger pay grade. So they're not going to tell you that. They're just going to tell you that they want to change of environment, they want to change in career, maybe. So there's no, I can't really tell you that there's a common reason, and it's not really also because they're being pirated, or it's not always because of a higher pay grade. It's really for different reasons. Um, Also, to be honest, I have stopped paying attention to why people are leaving because I realized nga that they're really not gonna tell me straight up what the real reason is. So I've really stopped paying attention. It sounds harsh. It sounds hard, but I don't like wasting time din kasi. So if they're not gonna tell it to me anyway, then why do I need to know it? If they're gonna leave, okay. I mean, we that's what one thing that's important is for you as the CEO and founder is to prepare for that. Prepare for people leaving because people leave. That's fact. People do leave. That's the one you need to deal with. You don't need to deal with whatever reason it is they have for leaving. You don't need to deal with that. That's beyond you. And oftentimes they're not going to tell you the truth anyway. So, what you need to deal with is how you're going to transition when people leave. And that is by having process documents, by having doing turnover well, so they have to sign off on a few things. They have to turn over files. They have to turn over training. You have to have process documents that would allow the new hire or new hires to be trained well. You need to measure the rate of your people leaving versus the rate of you hiring new people. And there has to be a way where they will overlap so that your people who are leaving can train the new people. It makes it easier for you and your clients to have that transition happen because life goes on. The biggest X factor for any business, the biggest question mark factor for any business is people. How well do you hire? How well do you keep them? And when they leave, how fast do you train good people? Those are the things that are sure for your company. What you're unsure of and what you should not be thinking about is what are the reasons that they're leaving. I know that you're curious about it. No problem you asking that question. I respect that. It's just that it's not something that you should bother with. No, in my one decade being CEO and founder, it's just not that useful for you to bother with that. For SEO hacker, what's the average length or stay of your employees in the company? Since we hire people who are younger than me or my age, and I'm 32, I'm a millennial, and I'm in the middle part of the millennial generation. So there's the older millennials, younger millennials. I'm somewhere in the middle. I would say like 3 years, 2 to 3 years is the average. But then my business again is only I only started 2010, so parang one decade pa lang ang SEO hacker. We can't really say, right? Because I didn't have a lot of years. And so startup years, people really come and go. In your startup years, that's really what's going to happen. And when you scale up, when your business is growing, you will not be able to keep everyone. That's the brutal, honest truth. Because people who are used to the startup feels, which is urgency, critical, crisis, very family yung feels ng team, um, very close lahat, it gets lost when you scale up. When you get more people, now we're a 50-man team, then I don't know everyone anymore. I'm not familiar with all of them, their hobbies, their parents' names or family background. It gets lost. And somewhere along the way, your company is gonna shed off some skin. Matatanggal yan, mga kaliskis, and you're gonna lose some people. Maybe good people, maybe hopefully bad people, but maybe you're gonna lose some good people. And you know what? I realized that's okay. That's okay as long as you improve your hiring process, trainings, and you improve as the CEO and founder as well. How do you keep people interested in staying? Well, you have to have vision, because if you don't have vision for your company, for yourself and for them, then why are they going to be staying with you? They don't know where you're going. And anywhere is okay, but you know what I realize is If you're not going somewhere specific, going anywhere in general isn't any better. So you have to make sure that you have a vision and you cast it, you share it with people, and people who don't want to go with you towards that vision, then you have to part ways with them. They have to part ways with you. That's as simple as that. People who love the team also stay for long, and that's because we really invest in people in our team. We have a lot of training, we have a lot of relationship building going on. It's not when you build relationships, it doesn't necessarily have to be programs. It could be the hi hello that you do every day or every week, and that's important to people, because the last time that anyone ever got an applause usually is during their graduation day, but we do that every week. So the culture helps people to also stick with us. Next question is, what's your competitive advantage and why is this important in any business? We built this over the years. One of the biggest advantages that we have is our branding. So if you search for SEO Philippines or any of the other similar keywords like SEO services Philippines, SEO company Philippines, we're there on the first page, often in the top one, two, or third place. And a lot of people are also familiar with the brand SEO Hacker, because we're one of the first all ethical SEO companies here in the Philippines, if not the first true all ethical SEO company here. Another advantage that we have is we have a very good team culture. Not a lot of digital companies have that, and that's because we really invest in our people. And when I say that, I mean it. A lot of other companies would say that, but really they don't do it, and that's a sad fact. So we do that. We invest in them, and what happens then is their work is a lot better. Their output is a lot better. And they really have a deep relationship with each other and the clients. The magic that happens there is amazing. You see, the we I learned that the strongest horse in the world, in our planet, is the Belgian draft horse. One horse can pull 8 tons. Two horses you'd think could pull 16 tons, but they don't. They pull 24 tons. So times three, need on times two. Okay? Just added one horse, became times three. Doesn't make sense. The math doesn't make sense. But two horses, two Belgian draft horses who grew up together, trained together, and are united in how they work, they can pull 32,000 tons. So you get an extra horse power just for two horses who grew up and are united in how they think. And we took that idea and ran with it. We implemented that as one of our core values, team unity. That is what I think one of the things that makes SEO Hackers super special and very different from all our competitors who, honestly, it's very difficult to pull off. We make sure that we keep gossip out of the gate. We fight it every day, and people who gossip, we really fire them. We really do. That's us. That's the kind of company we want to build. We don't like having people who spread dissent and division in the company. We want to be a totally united team. How do you choose between passion and obligation? You don't. You have to do both. So, um, you have. I'll continue the question. You have something you love to do, but you're obliged to do this other thing first. How will you deal with such situations? I'm gonna do both. So if I'm obliged to do it, the question would be, and you mentioned I have to do this other thing first, then I'm going to do it first. It's my obligation. When you say obligation, it's duty, responsibility. So there's no way that I cannot do that. I have to do it. And if I'm passionate about something else, then I will do that after I've done the obligation, or in my off time, or in my spare time. If I'm really passionate about it, again, passion is derived from the root word sacrifice, or yeah, in Latin, it's pati. Pati means sacrifice. So if you're really passionate about it, then you're going to sacrifice for it. You're going to sacrifice your spare time. You're going to sacrifice your I don't know, alone time or your leisure time for that. So if you're really passionate for about that, you're gonna do it anyway. But you have to do your obligation first, diba? Work now, play later. Yan nga yung sabi nila. Top 5 values I want to teach my children: love God, love other people, work hard, be kind, and family first. Yeah. I think those are 5 values that I want to teach them. We are teaching that to them already now as they grow up. We always tell them when they do something wrong, is that going to make God happy? And they say no. And we ask them, do you want blessings? And they say yes. Then I ask them, then what do you do? And they say, Papa, I have to obey or I have to tell the truth. I should not lie. So we point them to God always, and then we tell them to be kind and love other people with the house help or with each other. And then we tell them to work hard. They're homeschooling. I always tell them you have to homeschool. If you don't do that, then someday you're gonna find life difficult. You're gonna be hungry. You might end up poor. I tell them that, and I tell them that you have to work hard. You have to learn these things. Otherwise, we don't know what's gonna happen to your future. So, and then we point them to God as well, and telling them that what does God want you to do? And they say, Papa, work hard, study hard, obey. So we impart these values already to them. All right, more questions. Can you share with us one experience you had? This from Patrick Miguel still. Can you share with us one experience you had about dealing with demanding clients? How were you able to overcome it? Sure. Yeah, I fired them usually when they're demanding and they have overstepped the boundary of our contract and they're still asking for more. Usually I fire them. So I tell them that this is turning out to be a lose or a win lose for me, win for you, and it's not a relationship I'd like to keep. So keep your money. I don't need it, and we'll shake hands and part ways here. That's how I fire clients. So usually you can do this if you have good revenue coming in. Kasi ang hirap mag-fire ng client. It's very difficult to fire a client if you need that money. Just like it's difficult to lose your job when you don't have any savings. Because the next job opening, whether you like it or you detest it, you hate it, you're gonna have to get it because you don't have savings and you can't eat. So you have to have a lot of good revenue coming in. You have to save up for a good safety net. Otherwise, it's hard to fire clients. So I made sure that first we have good revenue coming in, good branding. Companies want to work with us. We don't run after companies. They wanna work with us and they want to get our SEO services. And there are times that I have demanding clients and I just tell them it's turning out to be a lose win. We lose, you win, and we can't go that way. But keep your money and we'll shake hands and part ways. That's how I do it. All right. When will Sir Marvin Gurmo join the podcast again? I think he can join anytime, actually. So if I hit him up right now, I think, yeah, unless he's playing StarCraft. But yeah, sure. Maybe we'll do one next week. No, from a request from Monster Wings. We have a new person here in the show in the Discord channel, Code Panda. All right. Question is, what qualities as a CEO have you acquired or learned during this pandemic situation? What are the challenges to motivate your team members during this unprecedented time? I'm gonna answer the latter question first. Well, one difficult way to motivate team members is you don't see them. It's different when they see you in the office and you see them in the office. It's just so different when I could just pat them in the back or akbayan ko lang sila and tell them good job. It's different when you see them, smile at them, crack jokes. Iba eh. Now we have Slack, Discord, Zoom, but I'm a face-to-face kind of guy. I'm an old soul, right? So I love seeing people face to face. That's what I love. And I don't like being in the screen for a very long time, especially having meetings on screen for a very long time. That's not my thing. So it's difficult to chat to motivate them because of that. But what we do is we make sure that we do the basic things. We say thank you whenever work is done. We appreciate milestones still, and we call them out whenever we have our town hall meetings, or we call them structured meeting. We call them out. We say that I want to give claps to this person, and everyone would clap digitally, no, for that person. Iba pa rin pag nandun kayo lahat sa town hall eh. Like there's 50 of us in the office, and I say claps to ganyan for that, and everyone would clap hands. That's, oh man, that's very different. The feeling is very different when people are there applauding you. The feeling is very different when you're just in Zoom. So it is a challenge that way, but we can only do so much. Thank God my people are smart and they know that we can only do so much. So I also tell people that motivation usually comes from a heart of gratitude. If you're thankful for every day, if you're thankful for what you have, for your team members, for the work you do, if you're thankful for the projects you have, your clients, then you're going to be motivated, and that motivation cannot be taken away from you. What qualities as a CEO have you acquired or learned during the pandemic situation? Well, I'm not sure. I'm not sure actually. I think my people would be able to answer this one better, because maybe I learned some new things, but more of tactical, meaning hands-on. Like I'm reading right now the ultimate sales letter, which is an outdated way to do letter, by the way. But I'm still learning something new from there. So it's yeah, I'm learning more tactical, not really CEO qualities, no, more of tactical, hands-on. I guess the projects that I'm doing, such as this podcast recordings that I do every week, those are new things that I'm doing, but acquired or learned, sadly, I would say not a lot. Not a lot. Um, di pinapansin ni boss yung questions. Bro, yung questions mo kasi nakakatakot eh. Alright, from JC Del Rosario. Um, oh, okay. No, I'm not gonna read the first one. But okay, if I would do a 250K wedding giveaway for our 25th anniversary for clients who book from November 2020 to Feb 2021, how would you market it online? All right, so this is a business consulting question. For those of you who didn't know, JC Del Rosario is a client of mine. They own Juan Carlo Catering. If you are someone who is looking for a really fantastic caterer for your event, whether it's a small event or a big event, as far as the law permits, Juan Carlo Catering is, in my opinion, the best catering company out there. Food is great, presentation is superb. And the question that JC has is, if I would do a 250K wedding giveaway, so he's giving away 250,000 people. That's what he is giving away for their 25th anniversary for clients who would book from November 2020 or Feb 2021. How would you market it online? If we're going to do it via ads, you have to highlight the benefit. The benefit there is makakatipid ka ng 250K na wedding. You have to highlight that. People buy and pay attention because of the benefits, not really because of the item itself. So that is what I'm going to be putting in the advertisement. Um, what else would I put? I, of course, after we have gotten their attention, I'm going to be putting the fine prints there. I'm sure you have fine prints, such as it's just from November 2020 to Feb 2021. I'm sure you have other fine prints there, such as maybe it's going to be a raffle. Maybe we can do a raffle entry for that. The more people you're able to invite in the raffle, the more points you get. We can do that as well. I have a software that does that. So we can make it a little bit viral that way organically without paying for ads. And yeah, that is the only serious question that you have. So I'm gonna stop there. But yeah, that's definitely how I'm gonna do it. So we have to have budget for that to run some ads on Instagram or Facebook. That's where I'm gonna run it. A lot of a lot of brides to be or husbands to grooms to be are on Instagram and Facebook. All right. How can I avail of that promo? Tanong ni Patrick kay JC. Yeah, that's why you are in the Discord channel. You can ask JC himself later and have a voice chat, no? So nagtatanong na si Patrick Miguel kay JC magkano ang 50 to 100 packs na wedding package. All right. So, yeah, JC sobrang yaman na caterer. That's true. They're also a very blessed organization. JC is, yeah, wha- yeah, he's a very blessed person. So, I've seen their commissary. Ang laki ng commissary nila. Sobrang, kala mo hektarya yung commissary. I've never seen bigger rice cookers in my life. They have the biggest rice cookers in their commissary that I've ever seen. Top 5 online hacks you learned this pandemic. Top 5 online hacks. I learned that in my bookmarks tab, in my URL bookmarks, pwede akong gumawa ng folders. So lahat ng Google Drive links ko, doon ko na nilagay kasi ang dami naming trackers sa Google Drive. Yeah, I just learned that. I'm sorry, right? You would expect me to be techie, but I just learned that this pandemic. So yeah. Well, Discord, I learned how to use Discord well during the pandemic. Before the pandemic, I was in Discord, but I've never used it that well. I'm using StreamYard now. I think it's pretty good streaming platform, especially for a podcast like this. So, thanks to Marvin Germa for that. I learned StreamYard from him. I also finally got to invest in eToro, which is a copy trading platform. I think that's a hack right there because I already made profits, took profits from it. I'm not as good in investing and trading as Marvin is. Obviously, he always makes money. I don't. I've lost a lot of money trading my own stocks. So copy trading is definitely a huge help for me. Um, yeah. Also, I made the masterclass, sean.c/masterclass. So I teach online courses there, and I finally learned how to integrate it very well with my CRM. So it those are some new things that I learned. Some few things top of mind. How do you find the platform called Lark? I'm not familiar with that platform. Marvin Gurmo is also the endorser like Erwan Yusuf. All right. Yeah, magka-level naman sila eh. Ka-level naman sila. Malayo ako doon. So, yeah, I think that's all the questions, no? Awesome. So, if there are no more questions, yeah, before I end, I'm just going to ask you guys if you know anyone who is looking to grow in their digital marketing career, this is the link right there. We are hiring. We're hiring a ton of open positions right now. We are still a growing team by God's grace. Thank God, we're still growing a little bit. We're not growing by leaps and bounds, but we're growing a little bit during this pandemic. And even the little growth is okay na yun kaysa sa wala, diba? So, kaysa sa lumiit pa, nahirapan pa. So, we're growing a little bit and we need people to join our team. If you know anyone who is looking to work in the digital marketing space or explore it or learn it, this is the link right here. You can send your CV there, look at the open positions there. And we also have Project Author coming up. That's projectauthor.com. November 11. Malapit na. If you want to write your first book, finally make sure you write it, publish it, you have a good editor, please join us. That's by RD Roberto, 7:30 p.m., November 11. And if you haven't yet, please follow us on Spotify. The link is right there, leadme.ph/Spotify. You will see Leadership Stack. Hit the follow button. Listen to some of our podcasts. The latest one was published just today. That's me and Mr. Marvin Germo. We talk about stocks, where to invest, US ba or Philippines. And if you haven't joined the Discord channel yet and you're watching from YouTube and Facebook, please do join us in Discord. This is the link right here. We have one question from Jazz. When do you say that you have overworked? When your body is shutting down, I would say that is definitely a sign that you're overworked. When you're becoming irate or angry, that is a sign when you're overworked. When you're wondering when will this be done or over with, where when can I get home, when can I see my family, my kids, I think you are already at the brink of being overworked. So kanya-kanyang way to recover yan. My way of recovering is I want to be alone. That's how I recover. I'm not an extrovert, I'm an introvert. I read books, I listen to good music, I meditate, I journal. That's how I recover. um Other people, they want to go out, talk with people, have drinks, party. That's how they recover. Most important for me is you have your time for recovery. Mahirap yung you're overworked day in and day out. You're gonna hate your job. You're gonna burn the wick on both sides. Yeah, yung mga ibang question, medyo ano na, no, kalokohan na. So, we're gonna end there for this week. Good questions. I hope you got a lot of value from the questions and answers I gave tonight. If you have follow-up questions, you can still post them in the Discord channel, and I'll get to answering them next week when we continue Leadership Stack Live. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight, guys, and God bless you.